Namo MyoHo Renge Kyo, Namo MyoHo Renge Kyo. How are you this morning? For me, it's morning anyway. Whatever time you're watching this is fine. I just wish you good health and security. I hope this video finds you that way. If not, let's work on it, okay? We need Daimoku. We just started this collection of Go shows that I put into book form, Nichiren on Mandala and Gohonzon, because I wanted to spend more time, and although you can do a search on this channel and you'll find several videos specifically dedicated to what is Gohonzon and Nichiren's Mandala and all of those kinds of search terms you can put on the homepage of this channel, right? Again, use this resource. That's why it's here. So to answer these questions for you. And there's thousands of videos, or 1,000 approximately videos on this one channel. Plus, there's the website, threefoldlotus.com. Lots of free information to download there. You know this, the bookstore, the ebooks on Threefold Lotus. For those of you who have bought books, either ebooks or print books, Namo Myo Renge Kyo. Thank you so much for supporting our endeavor, growing our Sangha, and all of it is in service of building our confidence, our conviction, our resolve, so that our Daimoku is profoundly meaningful and brings the maximal results, right? That's what this practice is all about. So, understanding the differences between a focal point, the maximal tool for our self-enlightenment, and that window in the mind, that paradigm shift, that perceptive opening in the mind, which is Gohonzon. Very different things. And there's almost no information on this very topic anywhere that I've found. So I've taken it on as something critically important for us, you and I, to understand. It's very important. They each have their specific role, and both those roles are critical, right? Opening the Buddha mind, Buddha-ness, that's the whole goal of Buddha-ness, or Buddhahood, or Buddha practice. I finally got it out. And the mandala is a critical samsaric device and an object with so much charisma. It is the synthesis of Nichiren's insights for you and I to practice, as in the Lotus Sutra, as bodhisattvas of the earth, the votaries of the Lotus Sutra teaching of self-enlightenment. So the great mandala is incredibly important for us, but it's not Gohonzon, right? It's just like a handshake. It's kind of empty in the midair. But when you join with another hand, the handshake is a handshake, right? So Mandala Gohonzon, handshake from samsara to enlightenment. Not the same as one another, but absolutely necessary. Make sense? Okay. So we're going to finish this brief Go show we started with on attaining Buddhahood in this lifetime. And I paused last time, not only because I was trying to keep these videos at a more reasonable length, but also because, once again, after reading that whole collection of Go shows that in another collection I've put into a book called The Profound Meaning of the Daimoku, we are hitting it again here. So he continues as we close this Go show. What then, after everything he's told us so far, does Myo signify, the character Myo? It is simply, simple, like anything simple in Buddhism, right? It is simply the wondrous nature of our lives, from moment to moment, which the mind cannot comprehend or words express. When we look into our own mind at any moment, we perceive neither color nor form to verify that it exists. Yet, we still cannot say it does not exist, for many differing thoughts continually occur. Right? The modern parlance is stream of consciousness, yes? The mind cannot be considered either to exist or not exist. Life is indeed an elusive reality that transcends both the words and concepts of existence and non-existence. Here is that time thing again. It is neither existence nor non-existence, yet exhibits the qualities of both. What are we talking about here? Well, we're talking about the mind, but this is why I have used the word potential. Myo is potential. You can't put your hands around potential, but potential exists, and yet if you look for evidence of it, that's no longer there. What we experience, this is the quality of the mind, and Nichiren is talking about this very thing, is that we exist through the manifestations and instantiations of energies that are derived from formations, from energy, from potential, from quiescence. The Nidana is all about that. Since the first, I'm saying Nidana because that's early teachings of Buddhism, yes? Shakyamuni was talking about this repeatedly over and over and over again until he synthesized it in the Lotus Sutra as our very enlightenment. In the lifespan chapter that Nichiren obsesses about. He said, there it is. We can control potential into manifestation as it forms. We can influence formation moment to moment. Even though with our samsaric mind, we can't observe at that level, at that, what was this, some 900 billion options, experiences in one moment. Yeah, it's just, the mind just goes, but we can influence it. So let's continue. It is neither existence nor non-existence, yet exhibits qualities of both. It is the priori entity of the middle way that is the ultimate reality. So now he's shifting a little bit. He's talking about the formations part. He's saying, as we can experience and influence, experience kind of a two-way formulation, if you will, energy exchange, it is in that moment that we are, one, experiencing and back at you, influencing that formation, that process of the engine of life, from potential to instantiation. Whoop, we can jump right in the middle of that with our practice, with our minds. Myo is the name given to the priori nature of life, and Ho to its manifestations. Thank you, Nichiren. Drop the mic. Myo, potential. Ho, instantiation. MyoHo Renge Kyo. Renge being the, I can be right in between Myo and Ho, to influence Ho, instantiation. What is that perception? What is that we're communicating with one another? Kyo. Namu Myo Ho Renge Kyo. It's, do you see how the Daimoku is actually a unification of the entire teaching, while the teaching is all about trying to enumerate and lead you to simply doing this, interacting with the process of formations, which is not what our samsaric mind does. Our samsaric mind comes after the party and collects all the confetti and tries to make sense of it, and we stress and are concerned, constantly anxious about what happened here. And Buddhism and the chant of MyoHo Renge Kyo is about getting there ahead of the party. The party's coming. What's the party going to be like? I can affect it. Renge, which means lotus flower, or it doesn't mean lotus flower. Lotus flower is the analog for, the analogy of, the simile, the metaphor for this process of realization. Renge. The lotus flower blossoms at the same time as it seeds for future. It's in that same moment that it creates the next birth. How do you leave this birth and go into the next one is your space for not only experiencing, right? You're not just the swamp or the muddy lagoon where the lotus flower blossoms. You're not just sitting there receiving the seeds, samsara, but you are actually involved in the blossoming. And you can influence where the seeds go. Lotus, 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 lotus. I can't say it that fast. So he's defining the practice. How do you, that was the title of this Go Show. How do you enlighten yourself right now, in this lifetime, right? In this moment. Renge, which means lotus flower, is used to symbolize the wonder and immediacy of this law, moment to moment. If we understand that our life at this moment is myo, is potential, constantly potential, then we will also understand that our life at other moments is the priori law, that it's all about formations from potential. This realization is the priori kyo, or sutra, the dharma and the experience of the entity formations. We can watch the whole process, Renge. The Lotus Sutra is the king of sutras because it's the method Shakyamuni realized for anyone to instantiate this mind, this Buddha mind. The direct path to enlightenment. For it explains that the entity of our life, which manifests either life-affirming or life-impeding at each moment, is in fact the entity of the priori law. The mind that we have emerged from this apparatus of body, brain, activity, the interpreter, the observer, the witness of our thought process, is itself MyoHo. Do you see? It's not outside of yourself. MyoHo is your mind at work. You're simply unaware. Renge is, now I'm aware that I am the interceder, the middle ground. I can now participate, as I always have but didn't know it, in the process. It's my mind doing this. MyoHo, MyoHo, MyoHo. Renge, turn the light on. Oh, I'm doing this. Understanding that it is you who is engaged in the making of your life. At that level, at the very level of creating perception, Gohonzon, that's kill. Namu, here I am, samsaric being, ready to engage in my Gohonzon, my mind of instantiation, formation. MyoHo, hello Gohonzon. Renge, I'm in it. I'm in time. Not a result of it. Not a precognitive, nothing mystical here. This is happening moment to moment. Can't even perceive what a moment is, but I can infuse myself into the moment-to-moment instantiation of my life, my perception of the entire engine of life. Renge Kyo. If you chant, Nichiren closes the Gosho here, the letter. If you chant Namu MyoHo Renge Kyo with deep resolve always. See, if you're just doing it because it sounds pretty or you need something to do for 10, 20 minutes, then, if you don't have the resolve to do exactly as I was just saying, MyoHo, be an interceder in the very process of your being. Namu MyoHo Renge Kyo. You're just sitting there mumbling, sounds. Then your benefit's going to be pretty weak, don't you think? Doesn't that make sense? Right? So you have to have resolve in this principle, not in the words, in the principle. Understand, this is a mental conditioning, training. You are certain to attain Buddhahood in this lifetime, right now. It's absolutely certain because it's already there. But if you doubt that, if you just are waiting for it to come from somewhere, you're not practicing Buddhism. That is why the sutra states, quote, after I have passed into extinction, one should accept and hold this sutra. Such a person assuredly and without doubt will attain the Buddha way. What is the Buddha way? Coursing through our life with Gohonzon mind, with that door flung open, so that we can understand, appreciate, be amazed by every moment this amazing process of Myo and Ho is going on all around us, because our mind is now attuned to observing it. Renge. Never doubt this in the slightest. Quite a call to action, isn't it? Respectfully, maintain your resolve and attain Buddhahood in this lifetime. Namu Myo Renge Kyo. Namu MyoHo Renge Kyo. It's no mistake that I start out the book with that Gosho. You could put down all of your books and your study, and you would do well to really dive into this very brief Gosho and get it Get the profundity of this. It's a very short gosho. It doesn't spend a lot of time quoting other sutras and being scholarly. It's just Nichiren going, look, this is what mandala is for. Mandala is your scripted reminder of the totality of this gosho. He just went through the whole daimoku for you. Here it is in the middle of this scroll. Remember? Namumyo, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. That's what we're repeating constantly. Wake up, wake up. Namumyo Rengekyo, watch this. See how this knowing influences everything. Wow, suddenly life isn't so tough. Life doesn't feel like it's being pushed upon you anymore as you gain control of your minds, realizing that life is yours. You're doing this, all of it. So if you don't like what you're doing, change it. I heard somebody say one time, if you want an idea of what your karmic freight train contains, take a look at how you're experiencing your life, what you think of your life right now, the good and the bad, and the mediocre, and the stuff you're not paying attention, all of it. And if there are aspects of it you don't like, you must realize that those aspects that you're struggling with are just made by your formations. They're not out of your control. It's just that, like I said before, your samsaric mind walks into the party the next morning and sees all the empty beers and the confetti and the mess to clean up. But it didn't just appear. It's not mystical. It occurred as a result of previous instantiations and formations. So if you want your future to look different, it's time to get engaged. It's time to get in the planning stages. Get to the party before the party happens. Influence the party. Influence your life. It's so simple. I laugh at myself whenever I say that because it's so crystal clear, and yet to do it, not so crystal. That's why we have a mandala, to remind us, to point us, to focus that mind that's just constantly, like they have on those self-driving cars, right? Just looking around all the time, collecting data. Oh, hey, get a hold of that mind. Focus it here. Oh, Renge. All right. That's enough for this video. The next one will be an outline on the entrustment and other chapters. So he's going to talk about the Lotus Sutra. This will be more scholarship. This will be more investigating the teachings of Shakyamuni at a focused level, right? Nichiren excels at this, right? And I have quite a long preface before it. He'll talk about Gohonzon, Treasure Tower, MyoHo, and Renge again. Gohonzon, explaining what the mandala really is. So this will be an interesting and also very informative distinction about mandala and Gohonzon. So we understand them, right? So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to your brilliant life, your results. I understand as soon as we get results, we incorporate them and go, wow, this is fun. You're in the party. Do you think about how you got to the party when you're in the party? But when you're out of the party, yeah, then you think about the party. Too late. It's over. We take for granted a lot in this practice. It's very direct. It's very intimate to your mind's participation. And the results, the enlightenments, the changes that are influence in the formations of our life manifest around us, many of them just go right by our samsaric consciousness. It's not until enough of the changes accrue that we suddenly realize. It's not unlike growing up. It's not until you're in your 30s that you realize what a gargantuan mess you've made of life so far. Right? How many of us haven't had regrets about we have fanciful memories of our teenage years. Who remembers the year or two of puberty? You don't even recognize yourself from those times. You just have little fleeting, I can remember feeling or thinking, right? It's like growing up. It's only afterwards that we reflect and we see within a context how our identity has developed or not, or whatever. Well, practicing Buddhism is not unlike that, in that we get so much reaction from the engine of life for our participation, our Buddha-ness, our Renge influence in that MyoHo, that formations area. It's changing parts of our karmic freight train we're not even conscious we have, but that influence hundreds of thousands of manifestations happening moment to moment. And as we purify, enlighten, awaken, nourish those areas lacking or that may not be fully manifesting, and we don't perceive them, they result in quite significant changes in our lives, which includes our environment. Never forget that. Your life isn't just you and your body. Your body, right? I've talked about this before. The body in Buddhism is the universe. You are connected to that body. That is your body. You're just one freight train amongst incalculable many, right? The Immeasurable Meanings Sutra prefaces the Lotus Sutra with this idea, these big numbers, these unfathomable instantiations that we can call each one of them an identity. Being samsaric, no doubt we can do that forever. All right. I hope this inspires you to think of your daimoku differently, right? This is why I say savor your practice. Understand that with each daimoku, you're taking on this huge idea, but it's simply going on moment to moment, and your mind can witness it, influence it. How amazing is that? I so deeply appreciate this practice, and Nichiren for the tools he's given us, and your practice, my practice. We're all doing it with one mind, the Sangha. So in that regard, like and subscribe. It helps us use Google's algorithms to propagate the teachings. And any other support you can do, buying the books, the mandala, of course. If you don't have a Nichiren or a digital copy of Nichiren's inscribed mandala, don't use other people's. We're not practicing theirs. It's Nichiren's insight that we're instantiating for ourselves, as Nichiren tells us to do. Emulate me. Emulate what I'm doing. Let's all be Nichirens. With that kind of, in other words, with that kind of resolve that Nichiren had, let's instantiate our Buddha-ness. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Please take care of your health. Be safe. And I'll see you in the next one. Okay? Bye for now.